They say the forest near our village only takes what it's owed. But I saw my stepmother feed it something it never asked for. That something was my little sister. My name is Chuka. I'm 28 now. But this happened when I was just 11 years old. We lived in a small compound at the edge of the forest in Anambra State. Everyone warned my father not to build there. They said the trees whispered at night. That people got lost in those parts, especially children. But my father didn't care. He said land was land, and trees were just trees. He was wrong. My mother died when I was 6. She had malaria, and we couldn't afford medicine in time. She was warm and soft and smelled like palm oil and ash. She always sang to us. After she passed, the house went quiet. Cold. My dad didn't speak much. Just walked, drank, and stared into the fire most nights. A year later, he brought home a new woman. Ijeoma. She was younger than him. Pretty, at first. Polite in public. She always wore thick red lipstick and had anklets that jingled when she walked. At first, I thought she was okay. But the mask came off when we were alone. She didn't like me and my younger sister, Ada. She wouldn't beat us in front of anyone. But when the doors closed, her true face showed. She pinched us when we made noise. Hit us when we looked at her the wrong way. Made us sleep without food if we spilled anything or cried too loudly. Ada was just 4. She didn't know how to be quiet. She followed Ijeoma around everywhere, calling her Mama. I think that's what annoyed her most. She hated being called that. She said Ada was cursed. That her crying brought bad luck. That her eyes were too wide. That she didn't belong here. My dad started traveling more. He'd go to the city to sell produce and stay away for weeks, sometimes months. During those times, we lived like shadows. No one ever visited. No one knew what happened inside our walls. One night, Ada started coughing. A dry, sharp cough that wouldn't stop. She couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Ijeoma just watched her, annoyed, like someone had brought a sick dog into her kitchen. I begged her to take Ada to the herbalist. She slapped me and said if I opened my mouth again, I'd sleep in the bush. I stayed awake all night, fanning Ada with a torn piece of cardboard. She whimpered until her voice disappeared. Her body was hot. Burning. But her hands were cold. Then I must have dozed off. When I opened my eyes, I saw Ijeoma walking out of the room. Ada was on her back, tied in a wrapper the way mothers carry babies. But Ada's arms were hanging too loose. Her head flopped to the side. I tried to follow, but my legs felt stuck. I told myself, maybe she's finally taking her to the healer. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. Morning came. No one returned. I waited by the door the whole day. My stomach hurt from hunger and fear. Then, around noon, Ijeoma came back. Alone. She was sweating, and her clothes had leaves stuck to them. She said she went to the river with Ada and left her to fetch water. When she turned back, Ada was gone. That she searched and searched. But she didn't look tired. She didn't look sad. She just kept saying, "It's the forest. It took her. It takes what it wants." I ran to the elders. We searched the river. We called her name until our voices went dry. Nothing. No footprints. No signs of struggle. Just silence. That was when the crying started. Not from me. From the trees. 3 days later, around 1 a.m., I heard Ada's voice outside the window. Chuka, carry me. It was soft, like a whisper right beside my ear. I sat up. My whole body went cold. I thought it was a dream. But then I heard it again. I'm cold. I'm cold. I screamed. Ijeoma burst into the room and slapped me across the face. Told me to shut up and sleep or I'd join my sister. The next night, I heard it again. This time, from the backyard. Chuka, come. I'm in the bush. I pressed my hands to my ears, but the voice got louder. I could even hear her crying. Like she was right outside, begging me to open the door. I told the elders again. They came to pray. They poured oil, broke eggs at the edge of the forest, and told me it was just grief. That my mind was still holding her. But it wasn't my mind. Ijeoma started acting strange. She'd stare into the forest for hours. Whisper to herself. Rock back and forth on her heels. Sometimes she laughed alone. Sometimes she dug holes behind the house and poured water into them. One night, I saw her sitting on a stool under the moonlight, cutting a piece of Ada's old dress. She was humming a tune I had never heard before. That was the night I decided to follow the voice. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to know. It was just past midnight. I stepped out barefoot, careful not to wake Ijeoma. The earth was wet. The wind was still. The forest was waiting. The deeper I went, the quieter it became. No crickets. No frogs. Just silence. Heavy silence. Then I saw it. A pink dress hanging from a branch. It was Ada's. The one with teddy bears. It was stiff, dirty, and torn at the collar. Beneath it, at the base of the tree, was a small pile of bones. Child-sized bones. I didn't scream. My mouth just opened, but no sound came out. I fell to my knees. The smell was thick, like rot and smoke. Then I heard it again. Chuka, carry me. This time, right beside my ear. I ran. Branches slapped my face. My chest burned. I didn't stop until I got home. Ijeoma was by the fire, roasting yam. Like nothing happened. She didn't ask where I went. She didn't even look at me. But as I walked past her, she smiled. A small, crooked smile. Like she knew. Like she watched. I slept under the bed that night. I held a knife in my hand until morning. 3 days later, she vanished. Her slippers were still by the door. Her wrapper still on the line. She left the yam on the fire, half burnt. No one ever found her. Some say she ran. Some say she went mad and walked into the forest. Others said the forest took her back. But I know what happened. A traveler from a nearby village came to the market months later and told a story. He said they found a mad woman in the forest, talking to a tree stump like it was a baby. She cried and rocked back and forth. She sang lullabies in a strange language. Her hair was full of ants. Her fingernails were cracked and sharp like claws. He said she said one thing over and over again. I fed you. I fed you. Now let me sleep. I still hear Ada's voice sometimes. Especially during the rainy season. I never answer. I just cover my head and pray. Because now I know. The forest near our village doesn't just take what it's owed. Sometimes, people feed it. And sometimes, it keeps asking for more. You think this kind of thing can't happen? Ask the trees. They remember everything.